So you are not talking. Let who is talking show now.
The cameras are only concentrating on the person talking, not all.
We can't do this in
The next thing, the court just delivered judgment in your client's favor. How do you react?
How do I react?
Yes.
That my client, Governor Ben Ayade, the deputy, won the case. How do I react? Let me show you. I thank God, Almighty God, the creator of heaven and earth. I thank him for his awesomeness. I thank him for being the Lord of Lords and the God of gods. I salute him in his fullness and royal majesty. I greet him with full adoration and glory. I give him the entire victory. It is not mine, it is his. He merely used me as a pencil to write. May God's name be eternally praised, now and forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Okay, Sam, please. What's the fate of members of the State House of Assembly who are suffering from the same defection?
Members of the House of Assembly have constitutional provisions that relate to them. They are separate from governors and deputy governors. Members of Assembly and members of the National Assembly are governed by Section 68, subsection 1G, and Section 109, subsection 1G. Even then, what the Court of Appeal, Enugu Judicial Division, heard last week is that even at that, it is not the function of a court to remove them from office, to sack them. The function of the court is to order a by-election. And that in terms of the removal of a governor or deputy, just like president and vice president, as decided by the Supreme Court, the apex court of the land, the highest court of the land, in all laws and all legal matters. The Supreme Court, which in Adegoke Moto's case said the Supreme Court is final. It's a final in the sense of finality. Final, not because it is infallible. Infallible, because it is final. The Supreme Court had decided in that article's case that defection by president or vice president, and of course by parity, governor and deputy governor, is not one of the grounds permitted by the Constitution to remove a governor who has been sworn in, who has taken the oath of office and oath of allegiance, as held by the same Supreme Court in Marwa versus Nyako. He said, for you to know how a governor or deputy president or vice president can be removed, you must go back to the Constitution, sections 180, 188, and 189. What are these provisions? A governor's seat is removed or vanishes. 1, if he resigns from office voluntarily. 2, if he dies in office. 3, if his tenure expires by a fluxion of time after 4 years. He said 4, any other process recognized by this Constitution, and that process can be found in sections 188 and 189. Section 188, when a governor is impeached. 189, when he suffers incapacity in such a way that maybe he has become lunatic or insane, that he can no longer perform the functions of his office. He said these are the only grounds. So the Supreme Court now said the principle of law of interpretation is expressio unius exclusio alteris. The express mentioning of one thing is the exclusion of all others. That if the lawmakers had intended, they would have included defection as one of the grounds to remove a governor. But as since it was not done, You cannot, no court can graft it in. In fact, the Supreme Court now said, in fact, it is in the exercise of a governor's right, freedom of association and assembly, under Section 40 of the Constitution, to defect after he has been elected. Guess what? The Supreme Court actually said it is painful, immoral, and unconscionable for an elected official to defect from the party on whose platform he was elected to serve the people for another party. Say, but it is not illegal. The Court of Appeal, Enugu Judicial Division, bowing to the hallowed, sacred, sacrosanct doctrine of judicial precedent, stare decisis, followed that judgment last week, Friday, 6 days ago. The Court of Appeal used the words, it is immoral and improper, but it is not illegal. A judge can be active. We call it judicial activism. The greatest activist judge ever known in the history of law is Lord Denning, master of the rolls. But even then, in the case of Ansher, Lord Denning still made the point that a judge has the capacity to iron out the creases of a material. You know creases. But he does not have the power to remake the texture with which the material was made. What the Court of Appeal said last week, which the Supreme Court has said, is that when a judge goes beyond the words of the Constitution or a statute to begin to manufacture his own words, that is no longer judicial activism. We call it judicial rascality. Some other judgments, they call it judicial irresponsibility. And in other judgments, they called it judicial impertinence. But today, Justice Taiwo decided to toe the line of judicial discipline by following the decisions of superior courts. He said, if the Supreme Court has decided like this, and the Court of Appeal followed suit, who am I? So rather than say, a Daniel come to judgment, I want to say today, a Taiwo came to judgment.
And I dare say you're ready to meet them at the Court of Appeal if they want to appeal this judgment. I'm sure you're ready.
Oh, at the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court, I would like the exercise. We call it legal gymnastics. It will just be nothing short of intellectual masturbation, just to be happy. And I will be very happy. But I dare say, with all respect, like Nostradamus, the man who saw tomorrow, that the case would be as dead as dodo.
Okay, sir.
When it is filed.
Okay, sir. On a day like this, if you're meant to advise the governor of Cross River State, what would you advise?
Advice to the governor of Cross River State.
Can we take it?
My advice to the governor of Cross River State is that he should know that by this judgment, the court has affirmed the victory and governorship of Cross River State.
Okay.
And the court has sent him a message, a loud and clear message. Stay put and serve the interests of your people. Govern very well in the remaining months in office. Now that you are in APC, and the court has recognized that, use the platform of the APC to govern your people well. In any event, the PDP found you good, and they gathered votes for you, and they garnered votes for you. The people of Cross River found you good.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.